What's up, guys? It's your boy Mosa from the Homies Hub. If you're not already a member, make sure that you guys join below. You can join the Discord and the social media app for absolutely free. And make sure that you guys comment, hit the like button, support the channel. You guys know what it is. Let's get it. So in this video, I basically want to talk about why a lot of people go broke when they come overseas. I think it's something that doesn't get talked about enough. It's not a topic that we really talk about as much as we should, but there are some good and bad things to coming overseas, basically, and trying to, do whatever it is. Maybe you're here and you wanted to just get away from certain things. You wanted to try to figure some things out, but you went broke, right? Some miscalculation, some mishap, some lack of revenue stream, caused you to go broke when you came overseas. And I basically want to talk about the financial strategy, mental strategy, and just some of the circumstances and pit holes that somebody would fall into when they come to live overseas. Now, I've been living overseas now as what you can say an expat, I guess like a moving expat. I only spent about 3 weeks total in the USA in the entirety of 2025, but it's going to be about 2 years and about 5 months or less than 5 months that I've been traveling full time and living abroad. And basically, what I have seen from a lot of dudes that come to live overseas and things like that is they don't come with a strong revenue stream. Most of the people that live overseas long time, they're retired, military, they have a consistent check coming in and they have decided to come and move overseas so that their money can go farther. It's actually a smart retirement plan. Now, other people don't have that retirement plan, but they kind of try to move overseas to escape the hardships of having to live in the US. As we know, the rising cost of living inside of the US is going up. People are losing their jobs to AI or speculation of AI, meaning that they believe AI, these job owners and corporate thinks AI will be able to fully replace humans. So they begin and start making cuts to see how much money they can save throughout the quarters. So you end up losing a job and this corporation might actually end up needing to hire you back, but now the talent is no longer there. So there's a lot of things going on inside of the US right now that overall makes moving overseas beneficial. At the same time, there's tons of content creators and opportunities for them to make money, right? And maybe the money that they're making online is not sufficient for them to live in the States, but it becomes sufficient for them to live in places like Southeast Asia, South America, and maybe even in places inside of Africa. Now, I would say this, outside of just the money that you need to make as a person that lives overseas, the biggest important thing is your spending habits, right? The biggest thing I see is a huge wealth builder for people like me who live overseas. It's just the fact that when you are a traveler, you realize that there are just tons of things that you don't need to buy. And you can't really afford to buy them because you can't bring all that stuff on the plane with you. So your consumerism goes down, right? Where you're not purchasing things because you want them. You're purchasing things because you absolutely need them or they come in handy and you're used to throwing things out. I think managing your spending is the biggest thing that people face when it comes to living overseas. I just got off a call with a friend. She lives in the Philippines, and basically she was splitting rent with two other people for about what would be 100 US dollars. This is rent for a month for a 3-bedroom apartment. If you can't generate $100 per month, you need to ask yourself if coming overseas is actually a good idea, because the cost of living for locals is still, it might be difficult for them, but that's like crumbs for us. So you need to live like a local. That means you don't purchase things in the frequency in which you would. And what happens is that a lot of guys, they come overseas and they get caught up in lifestyle where they get to live an elevated lifestyle than they did in the States. But they don't tend to realize that these lifestyle pits, and let's call them lifestyle pits because that's really what they are. These lifestyle pits are designed to basically have you continuously spending money. And let's just go with the biggest one. Bar girls, right? You come to Southeast Asia and you start buying lady drinks and going to the bar often, maybe more often than you would have ever done it in the States because you have more leisure and you have more time. You might not notice it, the first time you get your bill because your bill's maybe 12 US dollars, 24 US dollars. But you've gone to the bar now 12, 15 times this month. You've overspent. You might have been a little bit generous. By the time you tally up the amount of money that you spent, you have now picked up a utility bill, if not more than that, that will start to accumulate. And this starts happening as well when it comes to food. This starts happening when it comes to transportation. You end up spending more money than what you are accustomed or ready to spend. Because when you are an expat, if you don't have a fixed income coming in, if you're dependent on social media income, if you are dependent on jobs and things like that, you're teaching online, which doesn't tend to pay that much. You're trying to go for these low paying gig jobs that provide you just enough to live comfortably. Well, then that's how you actually have to live. You have to try to ration yourself and pace yourself the way a local would, because a local might never step into one of these bars because they know they would end up spending money that they ultimately don't have. And that's the kind of the problem I see with a lot of guys that come overseas, is that they indulge inside of a lifestyle that ultimately is designed to capture their money, because this is how these people's economies grow and things like that. Now, people seem to be under this like misconception that the only people that come overseas, crash out, and blow their money is young dudes. That's actually not true. There's actually studies going around that a lot of like retirees end up spending a lot of their retirement and going absolutely completely broke being in some of these places, whether it's for the sake of the fact that they got robbed, they had over committed into maybe building a house. A lot of the money really ends up getting splurged on women and things like that. And they end up having to maybe try to figure something out, or end up in just these really bad kinds of situations, which you guys can Google and research yourself, where basically they don't have funds. Spending is I think that's going to be your core thing, the core principle that you need to be able to take heed to, right? And try to spend a fraction of whatever your income is going to be, because you realistically don't need to spend that much money. The locals don't spend that much money. You don't have to spend that much money. Now, with that being said, I think another thing that a lot of dudes don't take advantage of, which I said on one of my live streams, is the ability to make money, right? Because now if you're able to basically lock down the place that you need to live for cheap, gain some control over your spending habits, you should know that you have now more excess capital to work for you. You just need to know where to put it, right? You need to figure out how to basically make money, continuously make money, even if you have a fixed income. You should always work on growing your money. The wealthy never says, hey, I'm making enough money, let's not make more. They're constantly looking at how they can keep making money and keep making money so that they can continuously grow what it is that they have going on, and they have a cushion in case things get difficult. With that being said, you have more money to work with. You should start doing research on maybe how to invest and play the stock market, how you can start a digital kind of agency that makes you money online, how you could possibly get into e-commerce. Maybe some of you guys want to start a local business in the very country that you are living in and see how you could benefit. Even do something as small as a juice stand, where you basically hire a local to sell juice there all day and then basically calculate your profits, that you don't even have to have a strong investment or even an overhead. I never recommend that the people that don't have a strong business plan to ever go into a brick and mortar business overseas in a country that they're not from, because that's an immediate expense. But you should look at ways that you can make money. I teach people how to basically make money online. You can hit the links below in the description. Book a consultation with me and I will be able to read over whatever it is that you have going on. I am a business administration graduate, so I did go to school for this and I did receive my degree in building businesses. Now, as for me, I haven't tallied up what I've made in 2025, but I did do a video where I do talk about how I made over $40,000 off of one contract, working completely online. This is in addition to a bunch of other supplemental streams of income that I have going on that I figure out how to automate and grow. I take a portion of my money and I hire remote labor to basically help me make more money. And some very basic things that I do even now that I don't mind sharing is I actually just hire labor to help me make sales, right? You know, reach out to people, make calls, make some like connections with people. For them, it means the world to them. For me, it reduces a ton of stress off of me. I've even brought some people to help me with a couple videos and help me try to create more content so that we can start frequently pushing out this message of living abroad and financial freedom. So I think it's very imperative, you know, number one, that we just get control of our spending as expats or travelers that would like to live and stay overseas. Number two, we need to figure out a system that consistently brings us money. And let's say you're making, you know, $3,000 a month. You need to make sure that wherever you are living is probably a fraction of that. Like I would try to keep it anywhere between $500 to $700 a month max. I wouldn't get a $3,000. I wouldn't have a $3,000 a month income and start looking at how I can stay at a villa for $1,200 or $1,500 a month, because now that's half your income just going towards rent, and it has to go towards rent consistently. When you're overseas, you should be taking the money that you make, saving it, taking a portion of that, and investing that. So let me break that down. If you have a revenue stream of $3,000 a month, I believe you should be saving at least 20% of that. That would be $600. From that $600, you should be investing at least 15% of that, which would give you about 15% of $600 would probably be around $75 to $100, maybe roughly around that. Figure out a way that $75 to $100 can make you some real money. And I think something that you could spend that money on that will go a long way is just paying for marketing and paying for ads to really just try to promote people to the things you have going on. That's the way I've been able to reasonably, you know, utilize numbers and crunch numbers and dissect numbers. That's been keeping me overseas as somebody that has had no job for 2 years, self-employed, right? I would love if I could supplement my income with an easy remote job that doesn't take away from my content creation, doesn't take away from my business building. Unfortunately, I haven't found that, but if I did, I'd be making even more money than what I do now, right? And I would probably just be sitting on it, investing it, continuing to pay down debts, or, you know, try to position myself in a better way. When you guys come overseas, you are supposed to be chasing financial freedom, not spending all of your money because you figure things are cheap, not overly helping people because you figure people need the help. You have to take care of you, because if you don't take care of you, no one's going to take care of you. You're on your own. So, but if you would like to join a community, feel free to join the Homies Hub, join our Discord. We do have a social media app that you will be able to monetize from, right? Just for uploading. There's no prerequisites. So it's your boy. I hope you guys enjoy content like this. Leave a like, comment, and let me know your thoughts, man. Let me know what you guys think when it comes to this. I know a lot of you guys have mixed feelings about chasing the freedom, or some of you guys feel like people should stay in the matrix. Let me know your thoughts. Doesn't matter what stance you take. I would be glad to hear from you guys. Peace.